Good morning, welcome to Planet Mojo. This morning I'm going to try to give you a quick tour of the ditch gardens before it gets too hot out. This is the purple love grass, and this doesn't get its really cool look until a little bit later in the year. I'm going to say probably 2 weeks or so, this will be like a giant plume of purple, and it gets better and better as the year goes on. Like late August, or maybe mid-August, this is just gorgeous in here. I don't know what it's going to look like this year because I planted a ton more. There was only, I don't know, 5 or 6 last year, and it looked gorgeous then. So this is going to look really nice. The lilies, I don't know why they're so late this year. I've seen lilies blooming all over the place, but these have full sun and they haven't bloomed yet. This will look really nice in about a week or so, I guess. The women are going to spray the horses. There is our tater cat, the one that disappeared for 2 weeks. She's real skittish now. Lost a lot of weight. Okay, here is one of the hollyhock plantings. These are doing pretty good. These are going to look really nice in a short while as well. The hanging planters. This is the peppers that I planted in there. And they were just taken forever, so I finally planted these petunias, and now these are taking off. I think I'm going to take one out and cut the top off the other. These are poinsettia peppers, and they're pretty cool looking, but they just took so long that I didn't think they were going to make it. So we'll have to see what I do there. These, if you've seen last year, I planted these the very first year of the ditch garden. That was 9 years ago, 8 years ago maybe. Have no idea what the variety's called, and I'm not a real big fan of the colors of them. I keep thinking I'm going to take them out, but they keep getting bigger and bigger, expanding, and I still haven't done anything with them yet. I got to get in and do a little bit of weeding right around here, which is kind of the mode for summer. If I can reach, like that grass blade right there, that's a weed grass, and if I can reach it, I'll go take the seed head off of it so it doesn't dump more seed in here for next year. So we got mostly purple cone flowers, blanket flower back there, black-eyed Susan, brown-eyed Susan. Oh, I believe there's some Gaillardia. I'm not sure, maybe that's Gaillardia right there. I'll have to look at my books again. Have to do that every year. We got the fading lupine right here. And I don't think the naughty cat. Leave her alone. She was missing. Okay, where were we? We have the little blue stem back there. I believe all of those are from this year. There's 1, 2, 3, 4 of them. Yeah, there's one under there, or there's 2 under the plants over there. If I can reach, I'll hedge some of these perennial flowers to give more light to these grasses. When everything is past its first year, like those grasses are, the grasses will be much bigger and everything will grow at the same time, including the annuals, which were planted late this year because of COVID. The company that sells this seed, they were shut down. Oh, they're on the East Coast, so they were shut down really late. They couldn't sell seed until like the 10th of January, or 10th of June, which is already way too late to plant, but planted them anyways, and they'll do fine. But everything is going to be kind of weird this year. the annuals are going to be really going crazy while the perennials are dying back, and they should all just grow up at the same time. This entire garden should be 3-4 feet tall right now, but obviously it's not. I gotta get in, well, I'll get in there right now. Got this bindweed, which is a big problem. This is morning glory, wild morning glory, and it might be from a planting of morning glory that I did years ago, and it is just such an invasive plant that it's almost impossible to get rid of. And it's almost all right in this area, and that's where I planted them, on this trellis right here. So I believe I did that to myself. While I'm here, you can see that the prairie dropseed, in some places it's getting really nice. I mean, that's way bigger than it used to be. I've had a lot of problems growing this stuff, so that looks really good. Hopefully it makes it. The annual wildflowers are doing really well. It's been raining every day for about an hour or so, right at about noon. It's just a weird year. Super hot and humid every day, and then a little bit of thunderstorm right at about noon. But that's really perfect for the plants, so I guess I can't complain. Let's see if we can see this back here. That's a second year grass, I believe. That's going to get really tall. They get 3 to 6 feet tall, somewhere around there. That's little blue stem. All of this is little blue stem back here. But most of them were planted this year. I believe that's the only second year one. And we do not want any lamb's quarters in here. Yank that out. We have one of the annuals ready to flower right there. Couldn't tell you what it is though. So more purple cone flowers. At the beginning of the year, you could see the crowns where this big stuff is, and I spray glyphosate. Well, after burning the entire garden, I spray glyphosate on all of the little baby plants, and then at some point I just stop weeding and stop spraying, and tons of little babies will grow again. So that'll fill the garden up towards the end of the year, and then I'll spray them again next year. If you didn't manage these perennials, they would just take the place over. Purple lovegrass again, much better weeded than the garden up there. And this is a good deal more than I grew up there last year. So this is going to look really nice. I have it on both sides of the bridge here. This is going to look fantastic in whatever, maybe a month or so, or maybe even 2 weeks. My prairie dropseed right along the bridge here, both getting nice and big. Those get about 2 feet around, so they'll be bigger than the mulch that's there, and about 2 feet high, just a big mound. So these will grow into each other and form like a little wall here. There's another one back there and another one there. I think I have a cat fight there. This is little blue stem. These will grow much more upright. Those will form a dome. These will grow much more upright. Should look pretty cool. Onions. I don't know. I planted these, I believe it was last year. Not really sure why I planted them in the flower garden, but I did, and they do have a nice flower, but it's kind of a weedy mess here. Not sure what I'm going to do with this. I'll probably get rid of this next year, but this year it's going to stay. That is a volunteer plant. The annuals, when they drop seeds, a lot of the seeds grow the next year, and just like the perennials, I kill a lot of them back, and then at some point I just let a few go. So we got one here, and actually there's a bunch of them like back in here. This one here, that one there, those are all from seeds, self-seeding. That one there, I let one grow here and there, and I'll take these out next year. That's a lupine. So I let a few of the volunteers grow towards the end of the year. Yeah, that's one right there. They just look kind of cool here and there. Sometimes I'll let one or two grow in the garden as well, the vegetable garden. Probably should show this real quick. I got to get in here and tie this up and train it along the top of the trellis. But we've been getting a cucumber off of this every day, but there are actually none right now. Lots of flowers. This is all doing pretty good. I pruned the tomatoes pretty severely yesterday because they were growing way too low to the ground. And with the heat and dampness that we're getting every day, they're just going to get fungal disease, and that's not good. This is a volunteer. So is that. And I think that's a weed back there. These are little blue stem right here. And right there, this is purple prairie clover. Got 3 of them here. I planted this last, nope, just 3. Planted that last year, and only 1 grew. So it's kind of nice that another one, or another couple popped up. This is an annual right here. We got a lot of annuals that are growing down in the bottom, so I got to kind of watch out where I walk. You can step on them here and there, but if you do it too much, it'll kill them. I can't get in here. A little bit later in the year, I can't get in here at all. The prairie dropseed isn't doing as great right in this little area. The back ones are, but a couple of these, like that one's dead, that one's dying. But this one looks great. So does that one and that one. That one back there is really nice as well. Another dead one, another dying one, another dying one, and then we got some bigger ones here. I've said it before, if only half of these prairie dropseed make it until next year, that'll be fine with me. These are really hard to grow and hard to keep alive, and they get really big. So if half of them grow, I'll be real happy. There's some volunteer annuals right back there. Again, not sure what they are. I'll let you know once they flower. That is a 2nd year little blue stem right there, which is going to look pretty cool in a short while. The annual wildflowers are looking just gorgeous. Lots of zinnias in the mix because I mixed half of the bag of zinnias in with the bag of mixed wildflowers. These are the pale purple coneflower, which are starting to fade. I'm going to collect the seeds from these. They're an endangered species in Wisconsin. I believe they're still on the endangered list. But regardless, I'm going to get these planted in the other gardens as well. They're the first flowers to bloom in the spring out of all the perennials. And they start fading right when regular purple coneflowers start to bloom. So it's kind of nice that you have it spread out like that. This right here you got the side oats grandma right here. This is going to start drooping over, and then the seeds start hanging down to the side, which is how it gets its name. That looks pretty cool. That still is going to be about another 2 weeks or so before it does that. I'm in kind of an empty spot right here, standing right in the garden. Again, we have prairie drop seed. That one's doing really good. These are doing, well, that one's doing really good as well. Those are doing midland. Got a little bit of grass here. And we have purple love grass right at the end here, which kind of continues. It's on both ends of that bridge and on one side of the driveway up there. This is side oats grandma right here as well. It gets nice little red buds on it when it starts flowering, and then when the whole thing droops over, it looks really sharp. But this year I planted a single purple love grass in there and prairie drop seed down there. So we'll see how that looks once they get big. And there's purple love grass right here as well. Should be pretty interesting, but it'll take another couple weeks to see what that looks like. But overall, the gardens look really nice, but next year it's going to be much, much better. And the last section, I call this the little blue stem garden. The majority of all these grasses are little blue stem, but it has big blue stem and Indian grass in there as well. And there's probably a few weeds, but not too many. This is a warm season grass, so it doesn't really shine until a little bit later in the year. We'll do another tour when all the grasses are looking cool. Right by the pipe here, we have a weed to pull out. We have prairie drop seed right here. I'm hoping all three of those grow because they're going to grow right into each other. Annual wildflowers along the side of the ditch. For some reason, this whole area is blank. I thought I planted it with annual wildflowers, and I planned on it, but it looks like I didn't, because it should look like this here. And then you could see all the way down, well, about 30 feet, this is all annual wildflowers. And then we have prairie drop seed. This is just a local grass. I should pull that out of there, but it looks something like prairie drop seed. I wanted to see what it was before I yanked it, and it is not prairie drop seed, so I'm going to get it out of there. The prairie drop seed along the back is looking pretty good. Got a missing one right there. Not so good, not so good. But in general, the prairie drop seed is doing pretty well everywhere. This is little blue stem right here. That wasn't planted this year. We've got a big crabgrass here. Get that out of there real quick. Want to get the root out and toss it on the road to dry out. So the gardens are looking pretty nice. You could see the side oats grandma coming out of there. It's kind of a jumble right now. We have the pale purple coneflower back in there, but eventually it's going to look a lot like this with flowers coming up out of it. Tall grasses, tall flowers, and as maintenance free as I can get it. If you've been following the channel, early in the year, once everything's established, early in the year, when the grasses are just yay big, you can see in between them, I'm going to go in and plant these annual wildflowers, just scratch them in along the whole garden, and then as everything grows up together, like right now, there should be all kinds of flowers interspersed in with the grasses. That couldn't happen this year because of COVID, and I couldn't get the seeds. But in future years, that's the way it's going to be. It's going to look really nice here, and fairly easy to take care of, because in the spring, I just burn the area, and then spray glyphosate because none of the warm season grasses are up yet. So that kills more of the seeds. It also activates some seeds, so it's not a real super cure, but glyphosate takes care of those. I believe that tall grass right there is big blue stem, and I believe that little stand right there is Indian grass. We'll see. Again, that the stuff with the really wide leaves is generally big blue stem, but this is only the second year that this stuff is mature, so it'll take me a while to ID it at this stage of life. Yeah, this is a lighter green than that one, so I'm not 100% sure. This might be Indian grass. And this, I don't know what most of this is. Some of the taller stuff is like big blue stem and other stuff that I planted. This other stuff, I think it's like red fescue or something. At any rate, I'm going to slowly kill this stuff back and plant other stuff, native wildflowers and grasses here. This stuff is not native, I don't believe. Yeah, I'll have to look it up. I don't think that's native. So at some point, this is kind of what it's going to look like. There's going to be all different heights of grasses and different types of native grasses. And it's going to have flowers coming up in between the plants. And hopefully it won't be too much maintenance. So far so good. The grasses are going to take a little bit longer, as are these annuals. This is just an odd year, so it's not indicative of how things are going to look in the future, but it is still looking pretty nice. So if you want to see all the grasses in bloom, that's pretty interesting. Make sure you subscribe and click on the update icon. If you have any questions or comments, make sure you put them in the comment section below. And if you give the video a like and or share it, it helps the channel out greatly. Thanks for watching and have a great day.